YouTube. This is Melon Tart VA.
And this is Sakuya Amano.
And welcome to something completely different. For the next few days, maybe few weeks, we're actually going to be looking back on each of the mainline 3D Sonic games, from Sonic Adventure up through Sonic Forces. Are you excited, Sakuya?
Yep, in the words of a certain blue hedgehog, yeah, this is happening.
And speaking of which, let's start with Sonic. Okay then, so first off, for those who somehow don't know the story, Sonic's effectively running through Station Square when he sees the cops heading somewhere. He follows them and runs into what's probably the first of a trend that Sega's kind of forgotten, the sympathetic antagonist.
Oh, yeah.
Also, guys, we just absolutely have to say this. While the renders look amazing, the English voice acting and the graphics have not aged well. Granted, they look better than Sonic 06, but still.
That goes without saying, and that's not saying much.
Thankfully, the music was always great. But anyway, let's actually talk about how Sonic controls, which is honestly the way Sonic should always control. Fast and smooth, but easy to turn and use homing attacks with. And somehow Sega has forgotten this.
Yeah, it's either going for speed or for ease of control. And it's like, come on, you guys have proven that you can do both.
Exactly. Sadly, it seems Sonic has fallen from this, and we will discuss that as this series continues. Which, weirdly, to me, Sonic's story just seems the most shallow out of them. Would you agree with that, Sakuya, or am I completely out of my gourd?
I wouldn't disagree with it.
Yeah, sadly, Sonic's story is the most simplistic. Stop Eggman. Like, that's what he's always done. Could we get something a little more interesting?
I mean, to be honest, as much as I like Sonic Adventure 2, I feel like Sonic Adventure 2 kind of had that too.
Yeah, that's true. But granted, Sonic Adventure only had, or rather, Sonic Adventure 2 only had like 2 main stories and had like 3 characters across each story. So therefore, it wasn't as obvious that the story was by the numbers. And we will get to that tomorrow when we discuss Sonic Adventure 2.
And it's like, yeah, well, but what we were saying with Sonic Adventure was that, like, you would think with Sonic being the main character, you'd have the most, like, exciting, story-rich campaign.
Yeah, which he doesn't. That honor actually goes to Knuckles, and we will talk about him in a bit. Honestly, to me, like, as far as, like, the bosses, Sonic's final boss is probably the worst. It is glitchy as fuck.
Oh, yeah.
And sadly, throughout the whole thing, and honestly, I don't know why this is still a thing, Eggman will not shut the fuck up.
That's Eggman for ya.
And yeah, plus, like, the ending of Sonic's story, again, it just feels generic. Like, woohoo, I saved the day, time to run off into the sunset.
Yeah, like every other Sonic game.
Yep, and now that we're done talking about Sonic, let's talk about Tails. Weirdly, Tails' campaign is probably my second or third favorite after Knuckles.
Yeah, now granted, I've only mostly played the most of Sonic's campaign, but...
Really? You've never played any of the other campaigns?
No, I have played a little bit of Tails', played a bit of Amy's.
Oh, wow. Then you haven't played what I consider the best, but we will talk about that. In a second. Back to Tails. To me, the idea that every Tails level is essentially a race, what with Tails' entire story being about not needing Sonic anymore, I think that kind of gameplay kind of fits. What do you think?
Yeah, like Tails trying to be like his own person.
Exactly.
That's just the buddy or sidekick of Sonic.
Yep, and as much as I don't want to go into this yet, Sonic Forces completely ruined this entire character arc, but we will get to that.
Yeah, exactly, because again, it's like, he's still Sonic's friend, but at the same time, he doesn't have to need Sonic.
Exactly, but let's move on. To me, like, Tails' final boss is probably one of the best ones. It's epic. It's tense. That's what a final boss should be.
Yeah. It should be the right amount of difficulty, the right amount of tension, and the right amount of stakes.
Exactly, which is what the Egg Walker was. But sadly, Tails also has a bit of a generic ending, and honestly, the vocal theme is just not my favorite. I'm not a fan of it. What do you think?
So we'll give it a medium rare for stakes.
Okay then, and next up is actually my favorite campaign. Knock knock, it's Knuckles. Oh yeah, like, seriously, like, Sonic Adventure gave Knuckles much needed development after Sonic 3 and Knuckles, where the guy just seemed to be an arrogant hothead. Here, we know why Knuckles is the way he is. He's effectively guarding the Master Emerald, which effectively controls all the Chaos Emeralds. And if that Master Emerald should fall into the wrong hands, we're all fucked.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm sorry, what were you saying?
My problem with Knuckles is that he's so gullible.
Yeah, but like, if you think about it, Knuckles has been alone. He's never really had anybody to talk to, and so he's never properly been like told, hey, this guy's evil, this guy's good. Don't listen to the first guy.
But it's like you think with all the times Eggman has double-crossed Knuckles, he gets the point.
Yeah, but thankfully, since Sonic Adventure, that hasn't really happened again. Not to my recollection. Maybe it'll be brought back to my attention as we continue. But anyway.
But I just found Knuckles kind of dense because of that.
Yeah, that's true. And yet that's not a problem with Silver, but let's continue. Anyway, Knuckles' gameplay is, of course, smooth as butter, like fresh out of the kitchen. It's that good to me. I love playing as Knuckles.
So pretty much smooth as molten knife to red hot butter.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, molten knife to butter, I should say.
Also, Knuckles' final boss, which is Sonic's penultimate boss, and Knuckles' final boss. Oh my god, it's epic. I fucking love the music. I love the difficulty level. Everything about it is perfect. Except when Knuckles fights it. Or rather, when Big fights it. That's just kind of dumb. And since we're on the subject of Knuckles, there is one character we kind of have to talk about, and I think you know who it is. Our buddy Matt, who voices Sonic in our comic dub, is kind of infatuated with this character. Tikal. We kind of
Yeah. Oh yeah, Tikal, that's right. Oh. God,
yeah,
stupid.
Sakuya, it's okay. You're having a bit of a rough day, but anyway, yeah, like, what do you think about, like, Tikal, just from, like, what we saw during the story cutscenes? Because we didn't really see much of her outside of Knuckles.
To be honest, given how I've actually come to know a bit about her since Sonic Adventure,
yeah,
I feel like she's a very underrated character who actually does deserve a lot more
attention,
attention and love than she gets.
Fair enough.
Because she is a pretty good character.
Yeah, which, thankfully, if that Sonic Adventure remake is coming out, if it is, more people will know about Tikal if they didn't already. And I guess now that we're done talking about Knuckles, since we've talked about Tikal, we have to move on to the original generic girl before Xena took that role, Amy.
Oh boy.
First of all, Sakuya,
famous...
thoughts on Amy as a character?
I wouldn't dislike her if she wasn't such an obnoxious yandere.
Yeah, total, like, level 12 stalker yandere. Like, notice me, Sonic Senpai.
It's like, yeah, Amy, I'll notice you after I came your fucking skull with a Pico hammer.
Weirdly, Amy's story, if not for Sonic or one other character we will get to, I'd say Amy's story is probably the weakest. And the shortest.
Agreed.
And ultimately, Amy's levels were just not fun. I don't know about you, but they were just not fun at all. Like, seriously, Amy's entire gameplay style, running away from a robot. I'm sorry, when did this become that final level from Braid in reverse? Kinda?
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. That's exactly what that is, too.
Yeah, like, I've never played Braid, but I've heard about it anyway. And also, Amy's ending is just... She's gonna make Sonic respect her. Bitch, you are 12 years old, he is 15. I'm pretty sure that is illegal somewhere.
Yeah. Even in Japan, the age of consent's 13.
Let's not get into that discussion. I already got a lot of flack from that during my Miss
apologies.
Anthropony commentary. I don't want to get into that.
My apologies.
No, that's okay. Oh, okay then. And next is actually probably the deepest character in the franchise, my man, E102 Gamma.
Wait, so what's the difference between him and Omega, anyway?
Well, the difference is that Omega's basically powered up, and like he's the final version of the E100 series.
Gotcha. So he's kind of like the, he's kind of like the T-1000 to Gamma's Terminator.
Sakuya, his name is literally Omega. What does Omega mean?
True.
Exactly.
The ultimate.
No, Omega is ultimately
final,
the last.
Yeah, the last, the most powerful. That's why I said the ultimate.
Yeah, but anyway, we will talk about Omega when we get to Sonic Heroes. But for now, let's focus on Gamma. Gamma probably has like the best character development over the course of the entire game. And also, Omega's ending is the saddest. If you know the ending.
Now, granted, I have to play through the rest of the stories, or at least watch the endings, but...
Oh my god, honey, should I tell you what happens to Gamma?
Yeah.
Okay, so essentially like halfway through the story, Gamma's mission becomes to essentially, quote unquote, free the other E-Series robots, i.e. destroy them and simply release the animals inside. He essentially takes care of all of them, except for one. His brother Beta, who you fought at the start of the game. After a tough battle, Beta ultimately shoots Gamma point blank, and both of them die at the end.
What the hell?
Yeah.
So what was the point of that boss fight if you were going to lose it anyway?
Well, actually, here's like the thing. Beta's like shaking and shit, like he's obviously going down, and so he's like, fuck you, brother, I am taking you with me. I know you hate those kinds of boss fights, but honestly, this one, it makes sense. This one makes sense because obviously Gamma eventually was gonna have to be destroyed.
True.
So if you think about it, in a way, what better way than to ultimately fall for the cause you were supporting?
True.
And I really didn't want to talk about this guy. But sadly, before the final story, there is one more story that we gotta talk about. Big, the motherfucking cat.
Pretty much the only character who I've actually wanted to intentionally kill in the game over and over.
Oh yeah, like possibly Sega's now 4th biggest mistake?
I thought we already agreed on second.
Oh yeah. Big's officially Sega's 2nd biggest mistake.
You know, I hear all these people always go like, oh, he's supposed to be a simple character. That's why he sounds like he does. Like, you can make a character sound simple without them sounding like crayons are sound like their favorite food group is crayons.
Oh yeah, like personally, like as like somebody on the spectrum, I've always found Big kind of insulting.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I feel like he's offensive to mentally ill people in general.
Let's not say mentally ill.
Sorry.
Let's say those with mental disorders. Let's say that.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. That's why I said something. Anyway.
Then again, I'd be kind of a hypocrite for using the wrong term.
Yep. And also, Big's gameplay. Who the fuck thought it was a good idea?
It wasn't just one big one big thing of find Froggy in the pond.
Exactly. Also, Sakuya, the worst part, on the Dreamcast, you couldn't use the fishing control thingy.
So it's like, why even have it?
Exactly. What was the point?
And it's like, it felt so horrible using it with the controller or with the keyboard.
Exactly. So, again, Sega, the fuck were you thinking?
What were you smoking?
And sadly, Big does have a boss fight, and as much as I loved fighting it as Knuckles and Sonic, fighting it as Big is a load of horse shit.
Yeah, especially because Big, I'm sorry, is completely useless for combat.
Actually, Sakuya, the funny part is, he doesn't actually fight Chaos 6.
Seriously?
Yep, you want to know what he does?
What?
He literally, I'm not kidding, he literally sits there, casts his line into Chaos 6, and gets Froggy out. You can literally beat this boss fight in 6 seconds.
Pardon me while I go break some windows.
Let's not say we did.
Look, I'm hearing that I'm just ready to just grab a baseball bat and start smashing some fucking windows.
Then how about we move on to something positive? The final story.
Please do.
Yeah, so like...
Before I actually have to go and smash some windows.
Okay then. So like the final story is essentially where ultimately Chaos's entire motivation is revealed, and it's really kind of sad.
Really?
Sad. Oh yeah, like essentially, the Knuckles clan literally trampled Chow for the sake of the Chaos, just to essentially steal the Chaos Emeralds. They literally trampled Chow.
Jesus.
Yep. And so Chaos effectively freaked out and literally wiped out all the men in the clan who were there at the shrine. That's why Knuckles is the last of his kind. Because of Chaos.
But I mean, still, it sounds like he had a pretty good reason to wipe out the kid in the clan.
Bingo. Again, sympathetic antagonists.
Yeah.
And then we get to what's probably considered one of the greatest final bosses ever created, Perfect Chaos. There's a reason Sonic Generations brought this fight in.
I mean, same with Big Arms.
Yeah, that's true. But anyway, like, to me, like, the first phase of the fight is fine. It's the second phase where things start to get a little unfair. And, like, you're a Souls veteran, so you would know what unfair boss fights look like, and I'm sure you'll get there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Beta Chaos, Throne Watcher and Defender. I can name. Luckily, the unfair Dark Souls boss fights are few and far between, but it's like.
Yeah, let's not talk about Dark Souls right now. You could literally talk for days about Dark Souls. Let's not.
Yeah, we'd be going against the original purpose if I mention anything else about Dark Souls. God.
Roxy, it's okay. Anyway, like, weirdly, like, after defeating Chaos, one line Tikal says always confused me. I don't know if this is a translation error, but she essentially says that all the Chow in Station Square who essentially come to see Chaos were, and I quote, the Chow you were protecting. They
What?
survived for generations and literally lived peacefully with humans. To call, honey, if Chow can survive for generations, why the fuck is there a death cocoon in Sonic Adventure and Adventure 2?
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Really,
Granted, I was never a big.
that's my only like nitpick with the story. The rest of the story is honestly really good, and the ending is incredibly satisfying. Even if the city is ultimately flooded and we never find out how long it took for them to actually fix things.
True.
And so, that was Sonic Adventure. Final thoughts. Honestly, the game is still fun, but it really needs a serious reworking in terms of...
Yeah. The game's clunky, and it's like, it's a good game, it just hasn't aged well.
Oh yeah, like, hopefully...
Like, it has aged like milk.
Well, I wouldn't say that. It's aged more like cheese. It's still good, but it stinks to high heaven.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, hopefully that remake is coming, because honestly, this game needs it. Anyway, everybody, tomorrow we will be talking about Sonic Adventure 2. I am Melon Tart.
And I am Sakuya Amano.
And we'll see you all tomorrow.